Welcome to VSOW. Today we're diving deep into this whole industry plant thing in music,
Yeah.
based on all these notes that we have.
Yeah,
It's super fascinating, but also kind of controversial.
it is.
And for our listeners who, love getting right into it, we're going to unpack what industry plant even means, why it causes so much debate, and how it's changing, like the entire music scene, really.
Right.
We'll be looking at, what people are actually accusing these artists of, how it affects this idea of authenticity in music, and what role social media plays in all of this.
Yeah, it's pretty pervasive these days.
It is. Our goal today is to give you a clear picture of this whole concept, industry plant, and what it means for all of us. And we'll try to throw in some interesting facts and stories along the way.
Sounds good.
So to kick things off, let's just define what an industry plant actually is. I mean, you hear it all the time.
Right.
And it's definitely not a compliment.
Yeah, not at all. It's a pretty loaded term.
It is.
Like, it's meant to be an insult, really. Right.
When someone calls a musician an industry plant, they're basically saying they're pretending to be independent like they made it on their own.
Uh-huh.
But behind the scenes, they've got this huge record label or powerful industry connections pushing them from the very start.
So they had help all along.
Exactly. And this idea, it kind of blew up in hip-hop like 10 years ago, maybe?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But now you see it everywhere, in all genres.
Okay, so the problem is this difference between how independent an artist seems versus how much support they're actually getting.
Yeah.
So how is the experience of, someone accused of being an industry plant different from an artist who's really independent?
Oh, it's totally different on every level.
Really?
Yeah. A genuinely independent artist, they usually have complete control over their music, their image, their whole career path.
I see.
But they often have very little money, so they have to do a lot themselves, recording, promotion, the whole DIY thing.
Right, they're scrappy. Exactly. So they build their fan base slowly, organically.
Not that time.
Yeah, their industry connections, they build those gradually too.
Sure.
And they often handle their own distribution and promotion or maybe work with a small independent label.
Got it.
And their artistic identity, it develops publicly. Like you see them experimenting, changing, evolving.
That makes sense. Now, on the flip side, what are some signs that someone might be an industry plant? What are those red flags that make people suspicious?
Well, one big one is a sudden, massive rise to fame.
It just happens overnight.
Yeah, basically. Their first songs are super polished, like high production quality, slick marketing right from the get-go. And that kind of stuff usually takes a lot of money.
That's true.
Then, early in their career, they might collaborate with really big names, which could mean they had industry connections beforehand.
Interesting.
Then you get tons of media coverage from big outlets for an artist nobody's ever heard of, or they're suddenly on all the major playlists and in those big ad campaigns right away.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
And then there's viral success that feels, well, kind of fake.
Okay, so what makes viral success feel fake?
It's like, imagine this brand new artist, totally unknown, suddenly gets millions of views online, but they had, zero presence before.
Right.
No real online community.
That's suspicious.
And then there's this crazy engagement, way too many likes and comments, and they're often from accounts that are brand new or never post anything.
So it seems manipulated.
Exactly. And sometimes it's just the speed, it blows up way too fast.
Not that gradual, organic growth.
Right. Real viral stuff usually builds slowly, but this is boom, instant.
Wow. Okay, so with all these potential signs, what's the trickiest thing for us, regular listeners, to figure out?
I think the hardest thing to know for sure is how much creative control the artist actually has.
Oh, that's interesting.
We see the final product, it's all polished, and we think, oh, the label's pulling all the strings.
Yeah.
But we don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
We don't see the process.
Exactly. Maybe the artist really did have a clear vision from the start, a sound that's ready for the mainstream, and the label just gave them the money to make it happen.
Okay.
But it's also possible that the artist is being told what to do, what to sing, how to look, and they're just really good at making it seem like it's all their own idea.
So it's hard to tell.
Yeah, we just don't have that inside view.
And this brings us to this big debate about authenticity in music.
Right.
Why is it such a big deal if an artist isn't seen as authentic?
Well, in a lot of genres, especially those that come from subcultures or independent movements, authenticity is everything.
Like a badge of honor.
Exactly. It means people believe you're being real, that your music comes from your own experiences and your own vision.
It's genuine.
Yeah. And when someone's called an industry plant, the main criticism is that they're faking that independence.
They're lying to their fans.
Pretty much. People feel tricked. Critics say their music and image are manufactured by the record label to sell, not because it reflects who they are or what they've been through.
Okay, so in this world where everyone's online and presenting a certain image of themselves, how can a musician actually be authentic
It's tough.
and stay true to their art, but also, be successful?
It's a balancing act. I think the key is consistency.
What do you mean?
Like, what you see online should match what they're actually like.
It should be the same person.
Right. And being open about their journey, admitting if they're getting help, that builds trust.
Transparency.
Yeah. Engaging with fans in a real way, showing vulnerability, and always making music that feels true to them, even if it's not the most commercial sound.
So basically be real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's hard because every little thing they do is scrutinized.
Everything's under a microscope.
Yeah. Every post, every interview.
So when these accusations fly about being an industry plant, what does it do to the relationship between the artist and their fans?
You can really damage that trust.
It's like a betrayal.
Yeah. Fans feel lied to, like they bought into a fake story. And that can breed resentment.
They feel duped.
Right. And then that suspicion spills over to other new artists. People get hesitant to believe in anyone who has sudden success.
They're more skeptical.
Yeah, they start questioning every backstory. And it creates this cynicism about record labels. Like, you can't trust anything they do.
So it impacts the whole industry.
Absolutely. It makes us rethink what authenticity even means in music today. It used to be about the music itself, a raw sound, DIY production.
But that's changing.
Yeah, now it's more about the artist's story, their image, what they project. And this puts pressure on everyone, whether they're accused of being an industry plant or truly independent, to prove they're the real deal.
They're constantly under suspicion.
In a way, yeah.
And social media is a big part of this, right? It's where new artists blow up, but it's also where these discussions happen.
Yeah, social media is like a double-edged sword.
How so?
It's a place where fans and critics can dig into an artist's background, their connections, how they got famous, and it's all out there for everyone to see.
They could do their research.
Exactly. And things can spread so fast online. Accusations, rumors, it's like wildfire.
That's true.
But on the other hand, social media can be good for transparency.
In what way?
Fans can find information that either supports or contradicts the industry plant narrative.
So it can work both ways?
Yeah. And social media itself has changed how we see authenticity.
How do you mean?
Well, now it's about how an artist interacts online, how they connect with fans, the stories they share. That's all part of their image now.
That makes sense.
But here's the thing. Social media can also create genuine overnight sensations. Like, TikTok can make someone famous literally overnight.
And that's organic.
Yeah, it can be. So now it's harder to tell the difference between that and someone who's being pushed by a label.
That's a good point. So with all this information and, misinformation flying around online, what do you think this means for new artists in the future?
I think it's going to be tougher than ever.
Really?
Yeah. Every new artist, regardless of their backing, will be under this intense scrutiny online.
They can't escape it.
Nope. They'll have to be super careful about their online image, how they present themselves to prove they're authentic.
It's like walking a tightrope.
Exactly. They have to build a fan base, attract attention, but also make sure they don't seem fake. And if they blow up quickly, people will be suspicious right away.
So they have to work even harder.
Yeah, they need to build trust, show their true selves. It's a constant balancing act between being transparent, being vulnerable, but also being strategic about how they come across.
It's complicated.
It is.
Now, we often hear about specific artists when this whole industry plant thing comes up. And while it's usually just speculation, can you give us some examples of artists who've been accused of this?
Sure. Some names that have popped up in these conversations are Billie Eilish, Wet Leg, Chance the Rapper, Lorde, Drake, Lana Del Rey, Halsey, Lizzo, Travis Scott, Post Malone, Clairo, and Olivia Rodrigo.
Wow, that's quite a list.
It is. But it's really important to remember that these are mostly just accusations, not proven facts.
Yeah, we should be careful about that.
A lot of these artists have talked about these claims publicly, saying their success is because of their talent, their hard work, and connecting with their fans.
They're denying it.
Yeah, basically. And when you look at that list, there are so many different genres, levels of fame. It just shows how common and frankly, subjective this whole industry plant idea
I
is.
mean, were any of those examples surprising to you? And why do you think those particular artists get singled out?
Well, some are definitely more surprising than others.
Like who?
Well, Billie Eilish, for example. She blew up so quickly, and her music was really well produced right from the start.
Especially for someone so young.
Exactly. So people questioned if she was getting more help than she let on.
Interesting.
Then you have Drake. He was an actor before he was a rapper, so when he got into hip-hop and quickly became part of that world, some people were skeptical.
They thought he was an outsider.
Kind of, yeah. And Lana Del Rey, when she first became famous, she had this very specific image, this whole aesthetic.
Right.
So people wondered if it was all manufactured. And then there are artists like Clairo who have family connections in the industry.
So that automatically raises red flags.
Yeah, people tend to be suspicious.
So it seems like a combination of things.
Definitely. Fast success, a strong image from the beginning, and any hints of industry connections, those are the things that tend to make people suspicious.
Okay, so let's shift gears now and think about this from the industry's point of view.
Okay.
How would record labels and those who work in artist development see this whole industry plant thing?
Well, they'd probably frame it as smart artist development and marketing.
Like it's just part of the business.
Yeah, they did their job is to find talent and give them the tools they need to succeed. You know, money, creative support, promotion.
To help them reach a wider audience.
Exactly, and to build a career that lasts.
So they're just helping the artist in the long run.
That's how they'd see it. And they might point to how many artists are now getting discovered online through places like TikTok and SoundCloud.
So it's more direct, more organic.
Yeah, they're not necessarily seeking out these artists. The artists are already building a following on their own. And some labels are even being more open about how they work with artists early on.
Like they're trying to be more transparent.
Yeah, maybe to avoid those industry plant accusations.
That makes sense. So from the industry's perspective, what are the pros and cons of being seen as the label that creates industry plants?
Well, the good thing is they can launch an artist very quickly with a polished image and sound.
And potentially make money faster.
Exactly. But the downside is that it can alienate fans who value authenticity.
They don't like feeling manipulated.
Right. And if a label gets a reputation for creating industry plants, it can hurt their image and make people distrust them.
And that can affect their artists too.
Absolutely. It can hurt the artist's credibility and make it harder for them to have a long-lasting career.
So it's a risky strategy.
Yeah.
Okay, so to wrap things up, let's go back to the differences between an artist who's labeled an industry plant and one who has a more organic career. What are the key things that set them apart?
The biggest difference is how fast they become famous. Industry plants usually have a very quick rise, while organic artists build their careers more slowly.
It's a different pace.
Yeah. And then there's the access to resources. Industry plants have money and professional support from the start, while organic artists often have very little.
They have to hustle more.
Exactly. And their image, how authentic they seem, that's different too. Industry plants often face scrutiny because their story seems manufactured.
Like it's too perfect.
Right. And then there are those initial industry connections. Industry plants often have ties that aren't obvious to the public, while organic artists build those connections over time.
It's a different path.
Yeah. And finally, how fans see them, how much they trust them, that can be very different.
So in the end, this whole idea of the industry plant is really complex. It makes us think about authenticity, about honesty, and how the music industry is changing in this digital age. It shows how artistic creativity, the desire to be successful, and what fans expect are all kind of clashing.
It's a lot to unpack.
It is. Thanks for sharing your insights on this fascinating topic.
My pleasure.
And to our listeners, if you found this deep dive thought-provoking, be sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment with your thoughts or any questions you might have.
We'd love to hear from you.
Thanks for listening to VSOW.